Hello, welcome to my ghost walkthrough of Into the Odd. This was my personal favorite mission from Thief 2 20th anniversary contest, and it's also one of my favorite missions of all time, period. I love pretty much everything about it. However, when it came out, it kinda split the community, with some people saying they really like it and others saying they actually hated it. And while I do understand some of the criticisms that I've heard, I do realize how not every design decision made here would be everybody's cup of tea. One criticism I never understood was that of the mission's story. And I've heard it being called incomprehensible, or just a bunch of random ideas stitched together, or even that the mission has no story. So in this video I would like to connect a few dots and try to prove that the story in this mission is actually quite coherent and really well thought out, even though it doesn't follow traditional storytelling patterns. So let's begin, and let's read the briefing. If you fight someone fair and square, you are doing it wrong. Sometimes I wish I could just slap myself, forgetting that I'm not the only one playing by that rule. It was already too late when I noticed the creeps following me, and the sun was still too high in the skies to simply vanish into the shadows. I managed to knock one of them out cold and found a very detailed map of their ambush before running to find a place to hide. I can hear them killing everyone they see outside, just to make sure I'm not hiding in a crowd. These brutes really don't leave anything to chance. But my reputation for being more slippery than a toad isn't just for show. Right, that's it. So, our objectives. You managed to escape from Bloody Police Butchers, but they've sealed all the exits leading out of this ward. Find a way to escape. Sewer jacks are known to carry blackjacks to knock on the pipes, so they can send secret messages. It may be a good idea to snatch one of them to defend yourself with. You lost your lockpicks during the chase. Luckily you happen to know that our lockcracker found himself a hideout somewhere in the old underground aqueducts. Time to pay him a visit. Once everything is done, time to get some well-earned rest at one of your hideouts in Millhold. Right. No loadout screen, obviously. We've just been ambushed. So let's wait for this guy to look around and leave. Okay, now we can make a real save. And take a look at the map. So that's a map we stole from one of the thugs. They marked all the locations where they would wait for us. And for now, we only have this part of the map available, the northeast. And we're currently hiding in the latrine. Now, it says here that the access to the underground aqueducts is right here in the latrine, but rope arrows are needed. And we don't have those yet, we don't have any equipment. So once we do find some rope arrows, we're gonna have to come back here and access the aqueducts. The arrowsmith on the other side of the city has rope arrows if needed, but we're actually gonna get those even before we gain access to this half of the map. And we also have our escape point marked here, so the gate to Millhold is where we're gonna end the mission. So here's the hatch to the aqueducts, but the valve to open it is all the way up there. And here we have orders from the Mayoralty of Shalebridge. Mrs. Clenham, by order of the Mayoralty of Shalebridge, you are hereby obliged on request to comply with the following brief proclamation, numbered 836-792, and delivered by writ on the 28th of the 3rd of 836. For the greater surety of Cerebro and the wards in its nearness, to keep the criminal elements out of our fair city, we have ordained and assented by advice of the most esteemed Albers de Born and of other great minds of the city public works, etc., that on the day of Saint Maximil, anno 836, a great mapping shall be done of the underground aqueducts. We command you that with the help of a good machinist to prevent unlawful intrusions, to remove the archaic mechanical system and replace it with one that doesn't need ropes and ladders to be accessed, and also one that is not timeable. We also command you that with the help of a good leathersmith, to prevent accidents, to install a ladder, allowing a safe access to the underground aqueducts. Be it noted that you shall be reimbursed, subject to the condition of keeping the invoice, and that the entire amount you've paid be within the reach of reasonableness. So, not only is the valve near the ceiling, but the mechanism itself is timed, and this will actually become relevant later. Now, this starting section was probably the most criticized aspect of this mission, because it kind of throws you into the deep end right away, and you don't have any equipment to defend yourself with, and it can be quite hard to figure out how to deal with this area. So I understand why it wouldn't be to everyone's liking, but one thing I never understood is players referring to this as a forced ghosting section, because that's simply not true. Sure, we don't have a blackjack, but the mission won't end if you get spotted by anyone here. And it actually might even be more fun to try to outrun and outmaneuver these guys. So, even though I'm ghosting right now, because that's what I always do, it's not enforced here in any way. Profitableness is within the honest worker's grasp, as several lucrative positions of employment are available in our manufactories at Folymouth, Muttonmere, Bow, Navenvogue, and Sunnyport. The fingerless and the crippled need not apply, as speedfulness and steady hands are prerequisite to clean the residuum of tar lime as quickly as possible in our automatic furnaces betwixt each automated baking, and exit them ere they blossom. Fair wages and steady employment guaranteed. Address at the Van Vernon Company's office, Van Vernon Castle, South Dayport. Okay, didn't get spotted there. This bit right here is one of the trickiest places, because there is a thug by the gate and he pivots randomly, so it can be kind of a coin flip.
Hello?
As to whether we get spotted.
Nothing, I guess. Oh well.
That over there is the gate to Millhold, so when we have to exit the mission, that guy won't be there anymore, obviously. So I picked up 2 coins over there. There is also a silver nugget for a total of 52. Behind this brick, 2 more pieces of loot for a total of 70. Okay, so here we have a replacement gear, the purpose of which will become clear pretty soon. And that over there is Bloody Polly, the leader of this group of thugs.
Did I see something?
There's a bag of spice. There are also 2 coins over here.
Well, looks like it's peaceful again.
The Briny Spittle Pub, today's special. Buy 1 beer for the price of 2 and receive a 2nd beer for free. Nice. Okay, in this shop you can get a mouse arrow. I'm actually gonna take 1 I have a good use for it later. And in here, let me actually read this first. Grease hands problems. Got ourselves a problem, a really big one. The mechanism opening the gate to the court just break up. Gears, teeth flying everywhere, joint bent. Took me a good hour to remove everything. Now we need to replace the missing little bugger. Problem is, some whore sons stole our equipment. I suspect old Mosul, since he was sacked from service last month, but can't talk to him, as he's slaving away in a debtor prison somewhere from last I heard. Go forth at the metal factory across the street on my behalf if they create one for us real quick. The layabouts owe me a service after all, and besides they'll give us something else to do with their hand other than holding pipe or playing die. If the layabout's answer is a no, just tell them that the new sheriff is more than interested in uncharted businesses. They'll know what you're talking about right away. And don't you dare let the overseer learn about this. You'll only give him an excuse to dock our pay again, Shellard. Right, so that explains what you need to do in case you haven't found the replacement gear yet. So just stick it in here, and you can open the gate now. So this door we can't open, but it'll just take us back to the latrine. There are 3 chess pieces, for a total of 127. Essay on the art of crawling for the usage of courtiers. Caution, hazardous conditions. Right, so that's pretty much it for the starting area, and we have to escape into the pipe. There we go, objective complete. And here's also a blackjack. 2 objectives complete in a span of 5 seconds. Nice. So next we have to find the key to operate this panel here. There's a cool little interaction we can do with a pair of cannibals.
What are you looking at? What you'll see is the haft of my sword across your brow if you don't scram!
So, that's just a conversation, that's not a ghost bust. Here is an underground warehouse, one of many in this mission, and here we have 3 rope arrows, nice. This guy drank something he shouldn't have from the looks of it. This panel here is kind of funny, because it operates this door, but it also operates another door. And because I like to close everything behind me, I actually got myself stuck on my first playthrough because I flipped it and went through here and couldn't find a way to proceed. Because it also opens this door right here, so we have to keep it open for now. So this just takes us back here, but we don't have the key yet, that we're gonna find down below. Here's the door to the underground aqueduct again, but we can't use it. Nah, you don't understand. We want those red traps set so they don't kill the little fuckers. The Traggy Jester asks for unique threats, we give him unique rats. Don't matter if threats aren't that unique. He pays a pretty penny for it and everyone happy. But not everyone must be in the know, especially that Taros Goblet Joffler. Now just shut your friggin' gob for once and do what I tell you to do. Okay. The gears down here will actually kill you if you come too close. Here we get the Mangled key. can use a rope arrow here, but can just mantle it. Okay, can't open this, but it'll just take us back to the underground aqueducts. This door is locked, so we can't use it. So into the furnace we go. I really like this area. Attention, be it warned that in case you have an accident, you must first seek the supervisor for scheduling a time to be evacuated to the sick house.
This looks like a dangerous area.
Yeah, so here we have some ice-cold pipes and some very hot ones. And the latter we shouldn't touch. Because they do damage. So I should probably stop making so much noise now. Because up ahead, we actually have an enemy. So you see over there is a pair of red eyes. That's actually an enemy. And if he spots us, he won't be able to do anything about it. He'll just do a little frustration dance. But he can spot us, so he can still bust Ghost. This doesn't look like the sewer anymore. Interesting. Here's a gold goblet. Deep down, with my hand I will hollow a deep grave, in a forgotten black juicy snail-frequented soil, and lay me down forespent with that voluptuous toil, snug in death sleep, as an octopus neath the wave. I loathe tombs and columbaria, I abominate wills, and rather than shed tears from the world to implore, I would rather ask of the crows, with their vampiric bills, to devour to the heart's content my carcass impure. O worms, earless, eyeless, wiggling black friends, to thee a once mortal one rejoicing descends. O blithe philosophers, offsprings of black dawn, come march through me, o'er my wreckage spread, and tell me if some curious torment still can be run for this soulless body that's dead midst the dead. Creepy poetry. Right, so this place is referred to as the Sanctuary, and I will of course talk about it, but I'll do that later. For now we only have a small bit of it available. You can get a gold candlestick and an old looking key. And this looks like the sewers again. Kinda.
Shouldn't be too hard to find a spot to climb out of this place.
Yep. So, in case you somehow wasted all 3 of your rope arrows that you got in the underground warehouse, there are more in that footlocker over there. Here we have what looks like a guard, but it's not. We'll get a closer look at him later. Now let's just begin our climb. I really like hearing the birds here. Of course, seeing daylight is already enough to let you know that you are back on the surface, but birds just reinforce that feeling tenfold. And it looks like we've emerged in someone's mansion. So we can go that way and open that gate, but I'm gonna go out through the balcony here. And I should also make another real save. Sounds like a good idea. Shadow of Doubt and Other Magnum Opuses by S. Perry. And a bottle of wine. There's also a statue. Total 267. Now, because we don't have the lockpicks yet, we can't access every part of this house. So I'll keep some areas for later, even though I could go into them right now. However, there are a couple of pieces of loot in here that are actually preferable to take right now, because they will be harder to take later.
Probably just the sir checking up on things. Stop right there! Move there.
Okay, this guard is a little strange because he's supposed to station himself on that side of his patrol, but he doesn't always do it.
Guess it was nothing.
Well, that's actually kind of beneficial,
What's that?
because I can grab his arrows right away. There is a scepter. And in the pool room, there are two hidden pieces of loot. There we go. Total of 507. Now, you could go for a swim right here, there is nothing to pick up. There's a crayman who doesn't alert. And this will just take us to some kind of a maintenance room. And you could reach that lever from here, but you're not really supposed to do it. And it is really finicky to even highlight it. You have to be in just the right spot to do it. So even though it's possible, it's not really intended for you to go out this way.
Nobody better be taffing around down here. Not this time. Saw something there.
Imagining things.
Oops, he heard me.
Who's there? Gotta stay on my toes
To
anyway.
march around outside, the grass and the trees. Uniforms are better. They got real good. Strange noises. Probably just the wind.
And here is a rug. This I'll read a little later. And that's our way out of here. Let me first get those pieces of loot I told you about. So on our second visit to this house, there's gonna be a guard standing right here in front of this door, and he'll never move. He'll just stand here smoking a cigarette. So it's really preferable to take these three pieces of loot right now.
thought I saw something.
There we go. 2 aces and a gold
Guess it
skull.
was nothing.
And it's also preferable to take this gold goblet here, because there is gonna be a maid stationed right here, and she'll also never move. The Goblin Den, another unfinished epics by S. Perry. In the kitchen, a bottle of wine, total 832. And let me show you something real quick. If we go down here, you can see a guy looking through some periscopes. That's the owner of this house, and we're gonna learn more about him a little later. For now, just keep that little scene in mind. Okay, so that's it for this house for now. I could go to that section, but I can do it later. Let me read this. The City Tribune. Chaos on the Abbess's general's offices. Insisting that the proud constables of the City Watch did everything they could to ensure the protection of the Baron's administrators, Sir Truart dismissed wild concerns and rumors over the chaos that ravaged the Abbess's general's office after a pride of cave lions claimed the record rooms as their territory. A storm was brewed in a teaspoon. While the shambalism itself is as impressive as it is preposterous, our only loss is inconsequential, as it was only a room made to store all documents on suspicions of concealment of income, said the sheriff, explaining that the situation was completely under his control and would continue to be so long as raw red meat shall be thrown into the rooms every day, to ensure the pride shall not range further into the palace in their primal search of food. The cave lions may have escaped from a private zoo for all I know. Nonetheless, the jure lex nobilis, I am forbidden to meddle with the private affairs of the nobility. As for those whose discontentment knows no boundaries and might be tempted to cry wolf, let this humble captain rememorate the citizen that the scold's bridle awaits those whose tongues talk to idle. Later that day, the city council announced that in the absence of our most exalted baron, a new Abbess's general shall be selected by Clarityrion to replace Lord Brineworth, who was devoured by cave lions. An extraordinary and ill-fated death. An extraordinary occurrence has been brought to light at the inquest of a squire in Dayport. On the last morn's day in Lady Louise's boudoir, where the lady herself was teaching young ladies the feminine crafts of embroidery, a mouse suddenly made its appearance on a chess table, and caused such an awesome commotion among the noble women that ladies' stoical guardsmen were alarmed by the noises and, thinking the lives of their mistresses were in danger, ran the guns before breaking the doors to the boudoir. The third intruder's frenzied havoc was quickly put to a stop, as it was seized by Sir Bordeaux, the ladies' champion himself. But the red slipped out of his hand, and running up his sleeve came out between his waistcoat and the shirt at the neck end. As the stout man was agape from this surprise resistance, and as the rodent was most surely on the hunt for a place to hide itself, it finished its frantic climb inside the man's mouth, then his throat. Frightened by its new fleshy and dark prison, the rat quickly began to tear and bite inside the man's throat, while the unfortunate fellow agonized and tried to dislodge the rodent from his inside by punching himself in the neck several times before a horrible death. Several witnesses to the accident revealed that the Malbeast was surely a pawn of the warlock, or from the trickster himself, as its tiny eyes glowed with a tense, godless calm, and a later autopsy, done by the lady's physicians, revealed that the rat's cadaverum was nowhere to be found, as if the rodentia simply vanished away. As Sir Bordeaux was supposed to joust on the next locksmith's day with Arthur de Peon, ladies' blacksmith champion for the honor of their respective mistresses, Lady Blackscombe commented that while she mourns Lady Louisa's loss and sends her utmost sympathies, she hopes that a replacement shall be found quickly, as Dishonored can only be washed in blood. This is my favorite readable in this entire mission. This is hilarious. Alright, let's get out of here. And listen to a conversation.
Sir, the merchants are being evacuated and took shelter inside your mansion as you wished. The maids are serving the mulled wine as compensation for the inconvenience.
Alright. Have your men patrol the ward and be on the lookout for anyone suspicious. I want every stall and caravan guarded. And don't let your men's grubby fingers touch anything. I hear one story about a missing ware or a looted moneybox, and it's not your salary I'll cut, but your ears.
Yes, sir.
And another thing, the Eastern Embassy tricks mustn't know of this. Make it look like it's a training exercise. And if blood has to be shed, let it be far from under my windows. And make sure that no commoners get in the upper floors where her golden eggs are on display. Bill, there's gold. Why today of all days?
As you wish, sir.
So that's me doing the Market Master's voice. And we get two new objectives. You aren't as unlucky as you thought. You found your way into one of the most well-guarded wards. Don't leave until you get at least 3,500 worth in loot. It seemed the local market master got himself an interesting gift. Get this golden egg. Alright, let's finally talk about the story a bit. So, to circle back on this mission being referred to as just a bunch of random things, there sure is a lot happening in this mission, but instead of looking at it as just a sequence of events, I like to look at it as a story in a couple of acts. And I would also argue that only now that we have these objectives, does Act 1 begin. Because before, we weren't really doing anything special. We escaped the ambush, and then we were just skulking underground, trying to get back to the surface and try to find replacement gear. So, at least from Garrett's point of view, not much was happening. So the escape from Bloody Police Butchers I would classify as just a prologue, and now that we've learned of a new opportunity here, Act 1 begins. So you may ask, what was the point of our visit to the Sanctuary? And that I would classify as an intermission. And I understand this is not how stories are structured, you don't put an intermission after the prologue and before Act 1, but given how the story evolves from here, it'll make a lot more sense why it's structured this way. Let's also read this. Master Belnabrick, Paymaster and Exchequer of the Worshipful Company of Medulian Mercers. So, this is then Master Belnabrick's house, and the guy we saw in the basement looking through the periscopes is then Master Belnabrick himself. And this house is not marked on the map, but it would be right here, so we've emerged in the courtyard. And indeed, we now have access to this part of the city. And we could even get into the Market Master's mansion right now, but there is no point, because to gain access to the golden egg, we're gonna need our lockpicks. And the entire objective of Act 1 would then be getting those. So now we have to go back to the latrine where we started. Remember, the access to the underground aqueducts is there, and now that we have rope arrows, we can actually get in. So I'm gonna mostly ignore this part of the city for now. I'll pick up a few pieces of loot, and I also wanna hit the arrowsmith right now, because I've seen him stuck on a couple occasions. And I just wanna deal with it as early as I can.
What was that? Well, looks like it's peaceful again.
Nobody better be taffing around down here.
So here is the Aerosmith. Even though it seems like he's looking this way. Oh, whoops. Well, he wasn't looking this way until I started talking about it. So let me grab his arrows and his money.
Meet up later. Drinking. Taking a break.
Something there?
Okay, this is really unfortunate. Can I maybe slip out before she comes? Okay, good. Secure the restaurant called the Golden Bug. I can read the menu, but I'm not gonna do that. A full and authentic account of the life and cruel actions of Ogrove, better known as the Mad Mutilator, who was tried by the judges of Pavelock and sentenced to be broken alive upon the wheel for cruelly mutilating and dismembering several ploughmen and pilgrims, to which is added the trial of Charles Brunswick and his sons for the murder of cruelly beating and starving their servant maid. Okay, I wanna grab this vase and an artifact.
Cook said we might get stew today. With real cow. Hope they save some. Bet the Baron gets to eat cows all the time. Not potato, potato. What's over there?
Right. Here you can get a sword, if you need one. You don't. And this takes us back to the starting area. And this is the twitchiest guard in the entire mission, because he pivots all the time. Can actually be kind of finicky to try to get by him. And I also want to get his arrows.
We can.
So I need him to turn the other way.
Who's there? Speak up.
Okay, step 1 done.
Probably just the wind.
Now for actually sneaking by him.
Seeing things. I better cut back on all this overtime. I'll turn you up. Not again. Probably just the wind.
There we go. This guy here is a little strange. He has heavy armor and a big helmet, so he doesn't see very well. But if he does see you, he'll just come charging at you right away. He doesn't actually give any alerts, which is a little strange. So now we managed to get by. So, yeah, the City Watch have moved into this part of the city, and they've killed every single member of Bloody Polly's gang, including herself. So this just further proves my assumption that escape from Bloody Polly's butchers is just a prologue, because it doesn't really have any bearing on how the rest of the story plays out. And over here, some workers have come, and they've sealed the entrance to the pipe here, so we have a welder here. This guy will gonna shoot fireballs at you, which is pretty awesome. Now that I have rope arrows, I also want to get into this building. So here's one way. You could rope up using this windowsill right here, but I actually got spotted by that guy on a couple occasions while trying to do that, so I think this is the better way. And in here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of loot. Total 1037. Inspector Ownard. As opposed to what you tried to suggest, pursuant to the fourth point of section NL 743-8 of the regulation, allow me to directly contact you in case of suspicion of extra-professional activities within the Authority staff, on the Authority premises, and with the Authority resources. And in fact, I happen to have such suspicions. On the third month, the Hammerite alchemist delivered 20 demiurges of liquefied light. In other words, 10 more than the standard. Liquefied light being a necessary component for the manufacture of powerful narcotics, I suspect the logistician to serve private interests within the Authority's budget. On the 10th month, a suspicious merryman approached me and asked me if he could buy from me too the most unique rats, making me ponder if it was in the staff's habits to capture and sell the vermin, teeming in the depth, instead of killing them as is expressly ordered in the regulation's provisions. Finally, on the 18th month, another suspicious man, presenting himself as Mutter Lepus, asked me if he could do another leisure walk from station to station in a quest to trust his own creativity. When his request was turned down, as it was a downright breach of the regulation, the strange man expressed his surprise and told me that last time there weren't any problems. I anticipate nothing other than a formal acknowledgement, telling me that an investigation shall be made. Should you eventually ignore my request, I will make you know that I'm in the good graces of the General OSE Gernster, and let you make your own conclusions with that. Professionally yours, Benjamin Jaffler, Junction Chief of the 115th Ward. Let's make another real save.
What's that I see?
let's listen to a conversation here.
So, that was Bloody Polly. More like Bleeding Polly.
You disgust me. Did she say why her whole gang was here?
She and her boys were looking for a git to settle a score. Black hood, dark blue coat, one weird eye, and... Come on. I'm not really enjoying it, and you know it.
Save that horse shit for the confessional. We'll look out for that fellow then. That will be one less creep to worry about. You stay here and think how to write that on your report without sounding like a beast.
All right.
Okay, so this guard has a purse, and that's Bloody Polly then. So that problem kinda took care of itself. Now I gotta wait for these two to come back. Okay, up here you can get an invisibility potion, which I'm actually gonna take. I'm gonna use it later. So I haven't read this earlier. Gregorius Crike's Tabellion. Right, another person. This guy, level 1134. And now... we can do this. So I'm not gonna close it behind me. But as you remember, the mechanism is timed. And what's supposed to happen here is that we get in, we grab the lockpicks, they are just nearby, and we try to come back, but the hatch is closed. Now, I know it's possible to actually grab the lockpicks and get out the same way. I don't know what the timing window on the hatch is, or if it's closed using some different trigger, but that's not what's supposed to happen. So the way the mission plays out, you're supposed to get stuck on the ground once again and look for another way out. So that's what we're gonna do. Spice bag here. Bottle of wine. Total 1284. And the lockpicks. Finally. There we go. Now we can open this door. And this takes us back to a familiar area. And in the version of the mission that I'm playing, this lever was relocated here. It used to be right next to the door, and it was actually possible to reach it through the door as soon as you escaped Bloody Polly's butchers and get into this area right away, which completely broke the intended flow of the mission. So I'm really glad it was relocated here. Now I could lockpick this and open this gate, but there is no need. Can just go this way. And the furnace is closed, but we can now lockpick this door. And actually make another real save. Because this can be a tricky area. Got a couple of guards here. This guy has a purse, which I wanna get. And that thief over there also has a purse. But there is another guard coming this way, so I can't get it now.
Thought I saw something.
Hello? Show yourself. Hello?
When their uniforms are better, they got real good boots, nice gold trim in the army.
Right, good. This is going well so far. So we have more underground warehouses here. This just has a couple of statues. And next door we have a giant crate, which, judging by the size of it, was made inside the room. And the box maker shall rise again. Well, I sure hope he does. So one thing you may not notice here is when you jump to this ladder, the bottom half falls off. But I'm actually not gonna go this way. I need to get into this tower, and there is a better way.
True what all they said. Find it was true. No, I just believed them like a taffeta. They're probably laughing at me now, behind my back.
What?
Too many
Got stuck.
Not again.
There is a lot of clutter here,
It's never real.
which can be a little tricky to navigate. So here we have 2 spice bags and a bottle of wine, total 1552. Can't go out this way because of this guard. So now to get back... I'm gonna use my moss arrow and just jump over to that metal walkway. That's the easiest way to get out. I'll also have to wait for that thief to look another way.
Hello? Show yourself.
There we go.
Hello? Anyone there?
You could land on this without making any noise and without using the rope arrow, but I don't want to spend the next 5 minutes trying to manage that. It's not easy.
Hey.
I should have saved once I've made it.
Did I see something?
Okay.
Thought I saw
Guess it was nothing.
You think that was anything?
What was that?
Guess it's nothing now. I'm not playing games.
Alright. Gotta wait for all the patrollers to clear out. Not a good idea to try to sneak here while everyone is here.
Just because I've been here only a few months.
Okay, so I haven't actually gone back and shown you that the hatch to the aqueduct has closed. I guarantee it's 100% closed by now. So I just want to emphasize that the way we're taking isn't really Garrett's choice here. Where we're going right now is the only way to proceed.
Medals for awards. Did I see something? Get to march around outside in the grass, in the trees. Uniforms are better. They got really good boots.
So here we have a gold candlestick and a tiara. Level 1727. Getting by this guy can be kind of a coin flip as well. He doesn't give any alerts. Just like that heavy armored dude. Right, so... private, huh?
The vermin shows itself anew to violate my sanctum once more.
Behold, the cure for boredom is curiosity. The cure for curiosity is death. Here we have some pressure plates.
In the name of the covenant sworn by my flesh, I call to thee, foul pit beasts, and order thee to turn this vermin's blood to wine and make a house of his bones.
Okay, so it looks like we're back in the sanctuary. There is a few things to comment on here. So first let me make another real save. First, this guy, who looks and sounds like a ghost, but it's just a dude. You can knock him out if you want. And I'll talk more about him later. Now we can also see that these aren't guards, they are mannequins. And now that we're in here, Act 1 has ended and the second intermission begins. And our only goal right here is to try to escape this place. And like I said just a couple minutes ago, coming through here isn't our choice. So to escape, we're gonna need the sanctuary key, which can be found in kind of a bedroom area. One way to get here or there is to use this metal walkway, but there is another way which involves picking a lock, and I find it a little easier, so that's what I'm gonna do. In here we get 3 pieces of loot, total of 1782, and stone tablet, and what looks like a transcription of that tablet. This here is the Papyrus of Smavan, the diatytheme of Smavan, for it is the will of Smavan, king of the plain runners. May death find he who had set his eyes upon this diatytheme uncalled, and may his remains be scattered to the four winds and untranslatable. Know that I, Smavan, king of the plain runners, have seen and lived in unknown deserts and forgotten wastelands, that no maps has ever charted, spoken with Agatha demons and Keko demons alike, who taught me how to raise the fallen to battle once more, and how to summon nameless gods and bend them to my unreadable will, power. Know that I have read this diatytheme when I first had visions of the lightless lands, and this diatytheme here shall pass my knowledge upon my science, so missing fragment. This here is how to invoke the shapeless spawn of the subterranean stars, that the volcano dwellers, one of the lost Jellembe's tribes, worships in the deepest caves with hideous rites, for it gives men the power to control the words of Misin, discover witches and hidden riches, and bring ruin to mighty walls and erected towers in exchange for blood sacrifices, as there is no food nor drink where it dwells. The place of summoning shall be deep within the earth, far from the stars, and the soil must be dark and cold, and a bronze brazier must be prepared and filled with myra and black lotuses. Oil and a bread must be baked with cinders from a pyre and blood of untranslatable. And the magus shall trace the seal of the shapeless spawn on the soil with fire salts, and the bread must be burnt in the bronze brazier and demerosion. Beware, for the shapeless spawn is a weak and idiot god, for he rebelled against the demiurges of the night skies. His righteous punishment was to be deprived from the Cleides. Beware, for the Cleides brings death, for he who became a magus of the shapeless spawn and must live neath painted stars for untranslatable. Cleides, the Kiss constellation. So that seems a little cryptic, but I mean, do I have to say it? That over there, that's the shapeless spawn. So the papyrus is basically a set of instructions for how to summon that. It looks like I'm in a bit of a pickle here, because I can't go down right away, because that thing sees me, and now this guy comes back. Right. There's a fire poker. And in this room is a base, total 2032. The Land of Benediction, or Aemilius Inquirium into the Reasonings of the Hammerite Necrolatry, by the ever and much honored, most esteemed Master H. Guyber. Chapter 13, on the symbolical use of bones and bone marrow, into bricks and mortar, sticks and stones. The symbolism of bones shall be developed into two abstracts: conception of the body. Primo, bone is the framework of the body, as eternal as it is essential. Secondo, bone holds the precious bone marrow, which is akin to a gold-containing chest. Thus, the usage of human bones for the confection of holy houses, necropolises, relics, and divine weapons isn't stranger to these Hammerite considerations. Asceticism, surpassing the notions of life and death, and accessing to immortality through exceeding deeds. Thus, revivification from bones evocate a glorious resurrection, and its bone marrow contains substantific heikiety from this restoratio. This act, although the most holy in the eyes of the Church, is akin to how the witch doctors in the jungles of the utter south wear the bones of their warriors as amulets, and how the druids of old raised the deceased so they walk into their own tombs. Here is a statue and a tiny castle. Creepy. So, actually, let me show you something. That's not a bug. That's how it should look. And okay, I can be a little faster here. Now that we have the lockpicks, And also open this door and see that it's just a bunch of mechanisms. So, again, maybe I'm stating the obvious, but this is not a Lost City type situation. This was never meant for people to live in. Nothing in this tower, but down here, flip this, find a book with a really creepy cover and some illegible text, and it'll spawn this guy. So he jumps into the void, inviting us to do the same probably, but don't do that. Just grab the vase and move on. Okay, here we come to an interesting situation. So here is a stone face and 2 pieces of loot near him. We can get one and nothing will happen. And if you're strictly committed to ghosting, that's what you should do and just leave. Don't touch the second piece. Because when you do, this guy is gonna teleport over here, he's gonna come alive and block the door. And he's actually gonna do, like, he's gonna walk towards you and do contact damage. And if you still wanna get this piece of loot and get out of here within ghosting rules, Clatrimus explains the method in his video. You need to chug an invisibility potion and I think a speed potion or even 2 of those and run. Okay. This first. And try to squeeze by him like this. But because he does contact damage, you're gonna lose a bunch of health trying to do that. And I don't really like doing that. I don't like taking damage, so I'm just gonna take a ghost bust here. I'm gonna shoot an arrow into a wall and distract him. So that's gonna be a second alert, a bust to ghost, but I prefer that over taking damage. Also, may I just add that this enemy here is the freakiest thing in this mission. That Lovecraftian horror roaming out there, I can deal with that, but this face just freaks me out to no end. So... let's do this. And leave. So yeah, that's gonna be my only ghost bust in the mission. And I think I've said it in one other video that if I need to take a ghost bust to take a piece of loot, I'll usually do that. Because I also wanna show you guys how you can get all the loot in the easiest way possible, and I think distracting that guy is the easiest way possible. Here is a goblet. Total 2247. also lockpick this. And here we have the brazier that was mentioned in the papyrus, complete with bread, and also a bunch of loot. There we go. 2592. Up here you can lockpick each of these doors. This one just has some books behind, this one has some spikes, this one we should pick. Demonic presence at unsafe levels. If you've played Doom 2016, you've probably heard that phrase a lot. There's also a goblet. So this is the other way into the bedroom. This is quite a massacre, isn't it? There's a gold candlestick, and here we are on the other side of this walkway. I'm probably exaggerating how difficult it is to actually traverse it. It's not too bad, but don't want to spend a few minutes trying to do it silently, because that's what's awkward. So here is the bedroom itself then, and here are several traps. Some are more obvious than others, like you can see a pressure plate here, but the carpet bits here are also pressure plates. Actually, I'll grab this, maybe I'll need it. And the bed is a pressure plate, so don't stand on it, but I'll actually grab an invisibility potion behind it as well. This one I'm not planning to use, but it might come in handy if I see a stuck guard somewhere that's beyond my control. So 2 more pieces of loot and the sanctuary key. Oh, should be a little faster here. So hopefully I won't need that potion. Okay, I'm gonna pick this lock as well. It's gonna be our fastest way out of here, but let me first show you something else. So there are 2 ways we can go now, one of which is through familiar territory, but for Ghost we cannot go this way. now a mummy has spawned here, and there is no way to pass this guy. And this is now blocked off as well. Here. And let's get out of this crazy place. And hey, this looks familiar. We were up there earlier. So we emerged back in Master Belnabrick's house, which should imply that the sanctuary and this house are somehow connected. And we can go out here right away, which takes us to familiar territory, but I actually wanna explore the basement first. Now, one thing I learned from Clutremus's video that I didn't know is that we have a golden child and a spider bot patrolling here, and they are actually deaf. And the first time I played, I creep crouched all the way, which made this area a lot more difficult than it had to be. So here's a tiny chest, 2 artifacts here, total 3208. The Tractus de Forfended Architecture, or the most secretive uses of flat pyramidices within Dromedos, by Gishon M.D. Morin. And the golden child has a tray with a bottle of wine, which I wanna get. Okay, actually, while they are over there, I may have a chance to get by this Watcher. There we go. Getting in here is the easy part. Getting out is more difficult, but here we have a gold candlestick. I like the bubbles here. Bubbles are a nice touch. Well, it looks like I'm gonna have to Wait for both of them to come back. Where's the base? Goblet and a bottle of wine. Total 33.73. So I'm safe in here, it's a perfect shadow. So I'm just gonna wait for the golden child to come back here. Hopefully it won't take too long before he comes, because they have a randomized patrol. Okay, this is ridiculous. Are they stuck somewhere? This is probably what I should have done right away. There we go. So, here's where we saw Master Belnebrick looking through the periscopes. Let's see what he was looking at. Looks like he was looking at us when we were looking at him. And he was also looking at the sanctuary. So now it comes together a little bit. So like I said just a couple minutes ago, The Sanctuary is indeed just an extension of Master Belnabrick's basement, where he performs his magical experiments and whatnot. And the ghostly guy that I said you could knock out in the Sanctuary, that was Master Belnabrick then. And apparently he doesn't like intruders into his Sanctuary. Who would have thought? So he saw us go through there when we visited the first time, and he probably already got a little irritated, so when we returned for a second visit, he actually spawned in all those monstrosities to try to hunt us down. And that's what he meant by the vermin shows himself and you to violate my sanctum once more. He just refers to our first visit to the Sanctuary. Now here is the genius bit. The Sanctuary is in fact disconnected from the main story of the mission. That's why there aren't any objectives associated with it. And in any other mission, when you discover something like that, there would usually be an objective, like, what is this strange place? Try to find out more. Or, this evil wizard is up to something, stop him. But I think it's completely within Garrett's character to not care about any of that. And I specifically made it a point that both times we went through the Sanctuary wasn't really Garrett's choice, it just happens to be the only way to get back to the surface. So this is what we're after, not some wizard and his magical playground. And I guess this is where some of the criticism comes from, because for many players, and myself included, the Sanctuary is the most intriguing and the most memorable place in the entire mission. And having it not be the focal point kind of feels weird, right? It feels dissonant. But I actually never had a problem with it. On the contrary, I find it refreshing to have such an approach to the story, and like I said, it's within Garrett's character to look at the Sanctuary as just a means to an end, basically. So now that we've escaped from there, the second intermission has ended and Act 2 can begin, where we'll actually get the golden egg.
Damn coffee brew is broken. Fancy I can't get a sip of coffee.
And I'll also loot the rest of Belnabrick's valuables, because why not? Okay, not a good idea.
I'm starting to see things. I'd better get some rest.
So, there is that smoking guy I was talking about earlier, so he's gonna stand there all the time. We can get a pair of glasses, candlestick, total 35-38, and that completes our loot goal. Brainchild, rewritten and enhanced by S. Perry. We can now unlock this. So this is Belnabrick's bedroom. Have a candlestick and a mask, total 36, 38, and a letter. To my right worshipful master Gusbert Belnabrick in haste. First a warning, if I may be so bold. As confident as you certainly are in the most awesome prowess of our enforcers, I can't help but place distrust in the armors Hieronymus furnished them with. They are rusty and rancid at best, gamsons and jackboots not fit to stand the chance against piercingness of arrows and bolts. Rajat the Tall may be a drunken lout, and his men more so, but they're not to be taken lightly. queries placed with trustworthy sources confirm that none other than Lord Van Vernon supplied Rudget's men with sturdy longbows and spiky flails. Secondly, on confirmation and a request that the master can safely discard if he wishes to do so. The Wall Sergeant promised not only to be as murmurless as a grave in this affair, but also to keep the hands of his men occupied while we strike, and desires only in compensation a subtle enchantment on his codpiece to help him woo the maiden. I trust my master shall make his wishes granted so, as he is of good character, prompt and loyal both to the rules of Saint Majula and our causes. Finally, good news. My worshipful master was right. Stapleburg's one trust was lulled enough by the presence of the castrato and drank the drugged envy-mild wine that was meant for him. While under the charm of the Gabble potion, the marked master revealed to us that the silent masked figure you spied during your last meeting is nothing less than an envoy from an unknown far-off archipelagic kingdom located eastwards of the Darklands. Nothing to do with the third noble of Pharos, nothing at all. In witness hereof, I set my seal at Bel Repose, the 86th day of Marath, Sir Richard the Piper. So, this is just another hint that Belnabrick might be a sorcerer of some sort if he can enchant someone's codpiece.
Looks like nothing.
Is that you, Kevel?
There is the maid that I talked about earlier, who's also gonna stand there all the time. Hopefully she won't be a problem here.
Well, doesn't seem like anything now. This place gives me the creeps. Back to work.
Now we can get in here. Plate. In the vase. And we can also lockpick this.
Strange noises.
Use a tiara. Total 3873. The Undercroft, the newer, renewed and corrected All the President's Imperfection by S. Perry. I should have a little bit more loot at this point. Oh, right. I know what I missed. Apologies. To have to go back here and lockpick this.
Hey, look over there. We got problems here.
Gotta stay on my toes anyway.
5 pieces of loot. I was in such haste to get by this area with all the patrollers, I completely forgot about it.
What's that?
Now we should be back on track.
Whew, this place gives me the creeps. Back to work.
This tiara should bring the total to 4093. That's what we should have right now. Good. To the most esteemed Professor Sherbois, distinguished Professor of Ancient Languages, lodging at the Blue Heron Inn. Greetings. Allow me the pleasure of introducing myself. As both Paymaster and Exchequer of the Worshipful Company of Medulian Mercers, I am a man of wealth and of certain influence, but also a lover of antique history. However, will forgive my lawlessness, even as versed in the mercantile arts of polyglottism, an ancient clay tablet I sought to translate for my own personal pleasure showed signs it wasn't likely to be unriddled with ease, and the need to call for the services of a wise man well versed in the forgotten languages quickly aroused. Then a most pleasant surprise awaited me. The man behind the codices Mandi Antiquaries and all sorts of treatises on paleography and fragmentology was visiting our fair city. I put the highest faith in your most excellent abilities to speak odd and forgotten languages to help me decipher this mysterious tablet. I hereby wish to invite you and humbly extend this hospitality to both your apprentices that accompany you to come to my Verkand estate eventide to dine. But please do note that my hospitality doesn't stop at mere pleasure of the belly and the throat, for I can also provide a saddled and bridled palfrey for the long walk twixt South Quarter and Shalebridge, and fresh linen bed every day, and fresh straw for your apprentices, for each day of your stay, if the need must arise. As a fellow lover of fine literature, I am sure that long ago you discovered without many a regret that through all the anarchy and barbarism into which the city was plunged during the leaden years, many of S. Perry's precious books were robbed from this world. I, however, happen to have secured 4 volumes containing the unfinished works of the master himself. If you were to accept both my hospitality and my small request, I trust you'd find not only my humble home as comfortable, if not more than the throneful inn you bedwelled, but also a real treasure trove of lore and knowledge. So humbly craving your visit, I humbly take leave. 28th Month, 836, yours most truly affectionate, Gosbert Belnabrick. So it looks like the stone tablet we saw wasn't translated by Belnabrick. It looks like this Professor Sherbois was responsible for translating the papyrus of Smaban.
Drinking, taking a break.
So again, all the readables, well, not all of them, but most of them, do hinge on the overarching story, even though they might seem cryptic. But they aren't as disparate as they seem. 2 pieces of loot in the garden and 2 more in this little room. Go for the 378. And now we can lockpick this door.
That's strange. Could have sworn something was there. Must have imagined it.
So this is the maintenance room that will take you back to the tunnel with the Crayman. More importantly, in the kitchen, you have 2 pieces of loot over here, bottle of wine in the pantry, and 2 more pieces of loot here. Coins, more coins, total 4517. And we're now done with Belnabrick's estate. So, would the story still make sense if Belnabrick and his sanctuary weren't a part of it? Yeah, I think it would, but would it be so memorable and thought-provoking? Absolutely not. So that, by the way, is a zombie, so don't get close to her. Just grab a mask. And now we emerged in the private court over here. There's a coin.
Looks like you got a bit wet, my boy.
I've never seen keepers outright make fun of Garrett like that. It's hilarious. So here's a shop where we don't have to go, but there are a couple of readables here. The shopkeeper is a really powerful spellcaster.
Is that you, Kevel?
Let me actually show you what she
Please,
does.
don't hurt me.
Because she'll utterly obliterate you. So this takes us back to the starting area again. Over there, looks like the mechanists have arrived, and if you get close, over there you'll see a cart loaded with dead bodies. So it looks like the mechanists are claiming all of those for reasons. If you've played Thief 2, maybe you know what they're doing with the dead bodies. Here the Tithing Man asks you to deliver a parcel to Blackpool on his behalf. That means you'll have to pass through Witchwood to do so. Bad place, but more dangerous than that is sleeping alone. Pauline says the innkeepers sometimes rig their beds with spring-loaded blades, or hide snakes underneath the sheets, to murder and rob the lone travelers at night. Remember to always check your bed, never travel alone, and most importantly, never wear anything too gaudy. Leave that to the ones who can afford to pay a mercenary's fees. Take this fire crystal, it'll warm your hands without the need of a campfire. Beware of the fairy flies. The Curiosity Grimdarkness of the Scarlet Devil Mansion. Okay, that's everything in this little shop. And there is another way out of the private court over here. So now there are some people by the pub over here. So if you wanna loot the office building, you should do that on your first return to this area, because now it's a lot more difficult.
Who's there? Speak up. I better cut back on all this overtime.
I also have a guard over here who has spawned.
What's that I see? Strange. I thought there was something there.
Okay, I think he must have seen me over there. I'll just
Something there.
wait a little bit.
I don't like the looks of that. Imagining things now.
I really like how the mission evolves with time. Every time you return to an area you've already been in, there is something new, or someone new. It really makes the city feel alive. Okay, Pernocratia, or the rule of the harlots. Here we have a goblet. And the purse. And there is also a silver nugget in this ruined building. Total of 46.55. There's another goblet. And the flute. Total 46.85.
Anybody there?
So this building right here is referred to as the Bastion. It's a really old building, probably older than everything else around it. And when you stand on this pressure plate, you can hear a noise from the inside.
Nobody better be tapping around down here.
So that opens this, and you can flip a lever. And that opens a panel over there and gives access to a tomb, which I of course want to raid, but I'll do that later. For now, let's just focus on accomplishing our main goal.
What's that?
Oops. And get into the Market Master's mansion. There's a coin. Gold candlestick. This door leads to the bathroom. That's gonna be our way out of here, so I'm not gonna go there just yet. Under this skull, the secret switch. There are more pieces of loot. 4778, and a note. Inquiry and potentially undesirable elements that might leak in Yeoman's Market. The Cripple King, beggar prince of Grime Falls, presides over paupers, slaves, and petty thieves from his court near the old incinerators. Tithe pinchings, purse snipping, counterfeiting, letters of alms and passes, tricks and cheateries, known to mutilate his men to inspire more pity from the honest citizen. Mammon, owns master of Morgan's demise, contacts with the old quarter's deep purses, Lord Tudor, Countess Lucresca, etc., and some stalkers, Hammerites, not mechanists. Money laundering, dirty dealing, black art, spy watching and tailing. Suspected spies, Jack Narcissus, the Iceman, Lacey Nitch, the Fruiterer, Tinver, the Molster. General money, corrupt priest, dwells in the abandoned orphanage of Gloomside. Slavery, dirty dealing, black arts, grooming. Contact with the Copperfant, who the hell is he? Evil reputation, deals with darkness. Right. Now I can rope up here. These white ceilings are just regular wood ceilings that have been painted white and gold, so you can stick rope arrows into them. And I think it's also a good time to make another real save. It's been a while. So when I grab this guy's arrows, actually let him pass here.
All right.
What's there?
Okay, better idea. I don't even need to go down there. I can just hide up here and let him pass. This is the way to the third floor. You can lockpick this door, but there is no need. I have a better way, but I wanna grab this vase.
Hello? Show yourself.
I really like the Market Master's mansion. In part because it looks like the nicest, most posh place we've been to in this entire mission, but it also feels like the most cold and unwelcoming place as well. Which is really interesting.
Hello?
There is a mask. Hopefully I can climb this before the guard comes. There we go. There are two chandeliers here. Each of them has a diamond dangling from it. So I want to get the second one. Okay, well, I guess she didn't see me. That's the Eastern Ambustrix, by the way, which is also a really powerful spellcaster who will obliterate you if she gets a chance. I can actually show you her attack as well.
By the builder thou art spied! Builder, smite thee!
It's a bunch of masks. So besides her, there is a maid with a candle. Can be kind of a pain, if I'm honest. And there is also another
Hello? Someone over there?
female guard behind the drapes here. So some drapes are not solid, and you can actually go through them. And they also block... They block AI vision, so you can hide behind them as well.
Hello? Someone over there?
Which is really nice.
Who's making that noise? Maybe it was rats. Rats make a bit of meat.
There's a tiara. So I might want to use a moss arrow here,
Say again?
depending on how this goes. Okay, so the first step for getting the golden egg is to lockpick this. That deactivates the seal around it, but now the hard part. Actually have to lockpick the cage.
This will make a nice little bonus.
Yes?
So the gold egg
Anyone there?
is worth 500 loot. Brings the total to 5603.
Oh well, I guess it was nothing.
Thievery! Someone will pay
Someone
for this.
there?
So both the ambastrix and the maid will give responses to the egg being missing. I think in line with the updated ghost rules, those are not busts. Not that it matters, since I've already busted ghost, but still. Right. Good, that actually went a lot smoother than I thought it would. That third floor of the Market Master's mansion is one of the toughest areas to ghost in the mission. There's another gold goblet, and the drain we can use to escape. There's a ring, total 5728.
Something there?
I think I can hear the archer guy. Good, let's make another real save. Here, the vase. 7778, and right now we're coming up on probably the most difficult single piece of loot in the mission, which is a gold goblet on Market Master's terrace.
Thought I saw something.
This just requires really tricky timing, because there are no shadows around.
What's that?
Don't hurt!
What's that?
So I don't know if I can get it right now. No, probably not. Market Master and that guard aren't in sync whatsoever. Maybe I can do it now. Nope. Now the archer comes.
Nobody better be tapping around down here.
Come, what's that?
Ah! Hey!
Okay. And the trick is to get that piece of loot while that guy is going away. So I guess by the time he's gonna be on his way back, Market Master is gonna come again. Yeah, there he is.
Huh? Anybody there?
Nothing there now.
Maybe this will work.
Guess it's nothing now. Third time this shift. I gotta calm down. Oh well.
Okay, good. So now we can get into this tomb, which really is just an optional side area. It's not connected to the story, but it has quite a bit of loot. There's a rug. Tristan de Morteau from the Red Rose. The order of mine youth gave with me a great gift, the title of Paladin to be used for the good of man. Mine own demise gave with me another great gift, the right of watching over the sepulchres of my ancient master. Two artifacts here. This skull is gonna disappear once we press this button. And the sound doesn't alert anyone in the market, which is good. We have some coins, an artifact, and a gold candlestick. Putridarium Columbarium. Adalbert Coeur from the Purple Rose. Hark, 'twas I who sentenced myself to this fate, and that my judgment was harsher than death of any meager, unimaginative punishment a lord might give to a subject. Hark, for in life I deceived and wronged my ancient master, 'tis in death that I shall find penance by guarding his sepulchres. So we take out his skull as well, and you can actually throw it in and press the button, which gives us access to this. Muirman the Eyeless from the White Rose. By looking inside where men might never, thou shalt find the way to greet my ancient master. So we have to use a button here, which gives us access to this room. Ostaclers Mi Pansardi, 23rd and latest Supremest Commander of the Order of the Withered Rose. And here are 4 pieces of loot. Total 6593. That's all the loot in the mission. So yeah, really nice little side area. Definitely worth coming down here to grab some loot. So now we just have to leave. And I'm actually gonna close the tomb entrance.
Third time this shift. I gotta calm down. What was that, you think?
Okay, gotta wait for the archer to pass because he's gonna hear me jump in there. Yeah, I don't think anyone heard that. Yeah, we're good.
Seeing things.
No, quiet now.
Guess it's a quiet shift after all.
So now we gotta pass this guy for the last time.
Strange noises. I better cut back on all this overtime.
Good. Mission complete. In 1 hour, 13 minutes, 11 seconds, we found 6,593 loot, which is a lot of it. Picked all 10 pockets and 17 locks, which I think you could get down to 14 if you want to minimize those. So yeah, I love this mission. And I hope that even if I wasn't able to convince you that the story here is as genius as I think it is, that I was able to at least connect some dots and show that it's not all random stuff, that it's all connected. So thanks for watching. Next time I'm gonna play Heart and Soul from Thief the Dark Project 20th Anniversary Contest, which is just like Into the Odd, is a very magical mission that I also happen to like a lot. So see you guys then, and for now, take care.